Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Katherine Kelly. I am a holistic health psychologist, author, speaker, consultant, and a soul healing specialist. Now, what does that mean? That means that I go deeper, that I have created my own model for going deeper, straight down to the essence of who you are. And, from a spiritual perspective, more and more people are seeking spiritual care and spiritual kinds of modalities and assistance to get to the deeper parts of what's going on because traditional methods have not always been effective and helping people feel whole. And about 38 years ago, I started my career in mental health. Now, that seems like a long time ago, but at a very young age, I knew that I was supposed to be a psychologist. I also knew that I wanted to get started as soon as possible. So I volunteered with the Domestic Violence Council. I started working with an adolescent treatment center. I then got a job at a hospital, basically working in their mental health units. And then from there, obviously I was in undergrad and graduate school, and I just dove in full fledged. And along the way, I picked up the awareness that in mental health training, actually, and also in medical training, there is no structure, there is no offering of being able to understand our deepest aspects. So that spiritual part of us, that soul part of us. And so I actually, over the years, created a soul health model. I've written 5 books. I've taught healthcare providers with continuing ed types of programs for years, using my model and helping them understand the different aspects, basically helping them know how the soul shows up. And so I actually launched a system of certifications. There's 4 major certifications, and then there's going to be offshoot trainings, and there's specialization retreats, things like that. And I launched the first of those levels of the certifications in the spring of this year, 2025. And it could not have gone better. The group of people that came together, what a beautiful group. Meeting with them every week, it was such a treat. I actually miss not meeting with them, and I'm staying in contact, and we're putting together some other things. But what I wanted to do for you today is actually offer you information straight from a few of their mouths about what the program was about for them, how it helped them, how it's helping them personally and professionally. And so I interviewed 3 of the participants. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a bunch of clips from those interviews so that you can get a feel not only about the program, but about how it will change your life, both professionally and personally. And to me, I can talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but it's more important for me to show you what people got out of this. And, the evolution is extraordinary. I'm one of those people who I love watching people evolve. And I love that in my therapy work. I love that in my soul healing practice. I love that in the workshops I do. And now being able to do this as part of training other trainers, training other practitioners or coaches to go in deeper with their clients and get to the root of the problem. It's a beautiful thing. It's such a gift. So I am going to, like I said, I'm going to share a bunch of clips with you. It's very casual the way that I interviewed them. I just want you to get a taste for what this program is all about. So listen up, sit back, write down your questions, and if you would like to contact me, feel free to do that. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you are interested in one of the trainings or wanting some information in some way that I can help you with. Okay, let's go.
So I'm Dr. Carol Robbins. I am a clinical psychologist in private practice in Annapolis, Maryland, and I've been focusing on treating individuals and couples with ADHD. But I see lots of people who are really interested in understanding more about their spiritual health. And so this has been a really wonderful opportunity for me to provide some of them with practical tools to do that. Because as most of you know, we are never taught that in our professional training. And I know how important it is to our evolution as souls to really focus on soul health and understand how it impacts mental and emotional and cognitive health and help people heal all those different areas. So this has been just an amazing opportunity to have practical tools and a whole kind of program that's been designed around this goal. And in the past, I've just had to kind of wing it and try to introduce concepts around the soul and soul health. But this program has provided a really, really useful, practical, comprehensive set of tools and introduce it to clients that have been super helpful.
So yeah, my name's Cherie Morgan and I am a New Zealander. I am a naturopath and a herbalist, and I work with women who are going through the whole midlife change thing. My other love is all things Akashic, all things intuition, all things energy. And I just, really spend a lot of time in that space. And what I'm finding is that, when women work through this time of life, a lot of that stuff opens up to them. Your brain is literally changing, and that intuitive part of you, like it's a physical thing, that it changes and that intuition opens up. So I was, really looking for a way to incorporate, that physical naturopathic work of menopausal change with introducing this new part of woman that they may not have explored before, with that whole spiritual, intuitive side. So that's why, and that's how I found you, by Googling something. And I was something a little bit unconnected, actually. And your website popped up, and I was like, oh, who's this lady? She looks interesting. And went from there.
So my name is Kim, and I am currently a registered marriage and family therapy intern, but I'm only 2 months away from becoming fully licensed here in Florida. Super excited about that. I am also getting my licensure in North Carolina, but I'm about a year behind on that. Through fate and amazing coincidence, me and Dr. Kelly met, and it developed into this beautiful, beautiful relationship. And I went ahead and enrolled in her SoulHealth Scholar, what do we call this? The
Certification,
curriculum, I guess.
Yes.
And honestly, I didn't know what I was getting into in the beginning. I mean, I had a general idea of what this would be, but now that we're almost to the end of level 1, I've realized that I've learned so much about the soul, even though we're not even on those topics particularly yet. So level 1, though, has really opened the door to the ideas. Oh my gosh, like I love it. The just that I think I said this in one of our settings, that the soul is everywhere. Like you interact with people and you see it. Your job and you see it. And it just, I guess, through the program has allowed me to see how much impacts our day to day, and it's just amazing. So I know we went over there on my whole, like, who am I? But I got carried away. I really love this program.
How do you think this will transform your work now? Because again, one of the things we've talked about are the very practical ways that the soul shows up in everyday life. But I'm curious, from your perspective and your specialty, how do you think you're going to use this differently?
I am using it right now regularly, and people are so excited because most of the clients that I'm starting to do the soul work with anyway, and when when I asked them, "Do you want me to do a soul health assessment?" They said, "Yeah, that sounds so cool," and they just want me to send them all the assessment measures and think that's really fun. So that's kind of cool. And before, I didn't have those tools. I could just talk about different things and karmic patterns and helping them heal from them, but I didn't have this structure that I've appreciated learning and being given as a tool that's much more sort of practical and hands-on in a way that my other trainings have not been, because they weren't designed to be implemented in typical therapy settings. I've just kind of adapted things I've been learning along my journey to introduce to clients. But this gives me a really well-designed system to incorporate. And so that's what's really cool. And I'm really excited about going deeper in the further levels of certification to kind of get even more into the intuitive stuff in this soul age and all the different ways in which, at a deeper level, past lives and all this impact our current lives and soul journey.
Gosh, we've gone over a ton of information in the 6 months. And that was one of the things that I emphasized, that, there's a lot of information, but I cannot teach the soul on paper. So, how has your experience been with learning more about the soul and sort of the hands-on approach that I try to provide?
Well, it's, because it's a good 6 months, we were doing this over 6 months. So it's not like trying to squash it all in
Right.
to a few weeks. And each module is just sort of nicely, starts here, each week sort of building on the other. Everyone's getting a little bit more confident in your vocabulary and the wording and the phrases. Everyone's getting more confident in understanding that little bit more each week about, your approach. And so it's just been a really natural progression.
What would you say for you as a naturopath? What would you say is the most helpful or impactful part of the program for you so far?
Mm. I think for me, it has been taking that thing, that spiritual, intuitive world that can be quite, a lot of people feel like it's in the land of woo up here, but being able to pull that down into a more practical, tangible sense that makes sense to most people when they see it like that. So it brings it out of that sort of heady space into that more grounded space. Yeah, I think that has been really helpful because naturopathically, that's mostly what I'm doing, working in the physical. So it just helps. Yeah, it's about bringing that down and so making it more accessible to the general person that you're talking to, really.
If you can think back to before you really started this program and now, what would you say is different about how you are seeing your marriage and family therapy clients?
Yes. So prior to this, I still had some really good interactions with my clients, and we were working in a deep level, but I feel like I'm able to go way deeper now, like just really connect to the person, to the soul, and it has helped like greatly with interacting with my clients.
So are there tangible ways that you, because of some of the things we've already done in the program, whether it's the experiences, whether it's some of the assessments, is there something tangible that you've already thrown in there and used that you can describe with how you've used it?
Yes. So the questionnaires, the assessments, and the surveys, I have used them all as in like one large chunk. But I've also kind of used like just the assessment or just the survey or even just one of the questionnaires. Just it's such a good like springboard into the conversations.
We're talking about the professional life, but what has changed in how you look at life or how you experience life? How has this changed you personally so far?
Well, it's forced me to do a little bit more of a deep dive into what remaining things I might want to work on for my own soul health healing. And it's helped me become more aware of aspects that I hadn't really integrated into my thinking about clients, such as soul age. That's not something I really thought about before, but it makes so much sense when you start looking at people that are less developed and sort of more immature and kind of behind developmentally in some ways. And I just had an intake the other day and it's like, oh, I bet that's a really young soul. Yeah. Because he was 37 years old and really on the path of somebody who's more like 22, kind of developmentally. So it's like, okay, he's probably a really young soul. That would probably explain some of that. But, yeah. But that would never have occurred to me before this class.
Yeah, so it's just a really nice step for me because we do look at naturopaths do look, holistically. We are looking at not just physical symptoms. We're looking at, people's life, their lifestyle, what their stress levels, everything that's going on in their life. So this is going to be a really good way I can really see it working in really easily with your, the questionnaires that you have that people can answer, that it will just naturally sort of fit together because it will just extend on. So it's just making what I do bigger. So it's not changing it, it's just expanding it out.
If you were to be talking to another mental health practitioner who is not that familiar with the soul and suggesting this program, what would you tell them about it that you think would help them?
I guess I would start like with a question, more of, do you feel like you're connecting with your clients on a level that truly can, potentially heal them. And most people will say no, because that is not something that we're taught or learn about. And I would imagine that given the opportunity to be able to reach clients at that level, a clinician would be like, yes, please tell me more.
Right.
It just weaves so well together that, if they want to go on that deeper level, which I would hope they would, this allows that. This allows you to get that knowledge to be able to connect with your clients that way.
The interest in the need for spiritual concepts and spiritual modalities, I mean, it's growing exponentially. And even a lot of those people aren't really taught how the soul functions. They're just taught how to do particular kinds of skilled-based modalities. So, intuitive readings or energy work or even astrology. I mean, we can go on and on and on about all the different spiritual modalities that people are getting so excited about, and yet they still don't know how the soul works.
Yeah.
And so that's a key part, I think, of this program, because I do think whether you're a coach or an administrator or a therapist or a healthcare provider, it's like when you start to understand all of this, in particular, why certain people are stuck, why they are held back. That's a key part of this program, level 1, is to help people understand that a lot of the karmic energies, a lot of the blockages, a lot of the, whether it's past life traumas, whatever it might be that we've already talked about, those are the things that may be blocking people from moving forward. To me, it explains the multiple layers of why we have to kind of heal from the human condition. And if someone keeps hitting their head up against a wall thinking, why am I still stuck? It's almost always because there's a major life lesson there, or there's a karmic kind of, I call it karmic strands, something that is like binding you that needs to be evolved beyond. And I think this is why I love teaching this kind of stuff. So that really I'm doing this somewhat as a journey for the people taking the course so that they can really get into it themselves and understand it from an experiential level. So how would you say understanding these concepts has changed you?
Now with this knowledge, I'm looking back at my own life, and we wrote that like timeline of the major events and stuff. And so like looking at that and realizing that there are patterns in my life, and that those account for, something my soul is trying to heal from, to correct in some way. So personally, I get to interweave it into my own life and try to, I think that what you use like with the tapestry is to undo some of those strands that don't need to be there anymore.
How you evolve beyond some of those snags in that tapestry of life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Has there been anything particularly impactful for you? Has there been an experience? I know that I've designed this course as both obviously an educational course, but, kind of a deep dive and sort of an experience for people. Has there been anything that's been particularly powerful for you that you would want to share for people?
Well, I really appreciated some of the soul journeys you took us on, especially during the intensives. The last intensive was, really profoundly helpful in some of the ways that the soul journey I experienced and learned from. So that was really helpful and meaningful. So that was probably the most noticeable way in which I feel like I've grown from it, as well as, as a therapist, of course, for sure.
How has this process changed you personally? What has it helped you do for yourself?
So I, like as I said before, I have spent a lot of time on the spiritual journey, learning about, spirit and the universe and the intuition. I'm all into the manifesting, all this sort of stuff. But for me, it's just been about also bringing it back to that more tangible, grounded aspect of day-to-day life. So being able to bring it more into, not as it brings it more into being into me as a person, not just something I do out here.
Helps you integrate a little bit more as well, which is really
integrate. That's the word. Yeah.
Which to me is the concept of soul health altogether, is how do we integrate all of those different 10 branches of the human condition into who we are, and really, again, I use the word alignment, but how do we align in order to feel that sense of wholeness and that sense of, again, I use the word radiance a lot. So is there anything else you would want to tell people who might be considering this course?
Yeah, there's one thing that comes to mind. There's a lot of talk in my industry, and I'm sure there is with other industries as well, that AI is going to replace a lot of what we do. There's AI therapists, you can pop all your symptoms into AI and it'll give you a plan of what you can do. To me, this work is can never be replaced by AI, because AI does not have a soul. So when we are working with the soul at the soul level, no one can ever hop onto their chat GPT and replace us. So I think it's quite a future-proof. It's like, is it the word future-proof? They call it. And as more and more people, as the world becomes more and more that way inclined, people will be searching for more soul connection, and that's where we will come in.
I absolutely agree with you, and I appreciate you saying that, because, like I said, you can't teach the soul on paper. You have to have interactions and you have to experience the soul. And I love how you said that AI does not have a soul, so it cannot be replaced. And I appreciate that you said that. That's wonderful. So what makes you excited to take the next one?
So to get into to level 2 or 3 or 4, however wherever I end up there, I am actually super excited, because it will give me verbiage to use for things that I've already kind of tapped into, but just you don't have the knowledge on. There is no school to learn that. It will give me the knowledge and the language to use to feel more confident in that aspect of my life.
I've been doing some sort of mental health work for 38 years and mixed in a whole lot of spiritual work along the way. And it does give you the language, it gives you the foundation, and the fact that you can weave it into, a traditionally trained approach is, I think it's exponentially going to enhance what you do. So I'm excited that you've been part of this. Anything else you would want to tell anybody who is considering this program, whether they're a psychologist or any other kind of practitioner?
Sign up as soon as possible, because it's going to be really, really profoundly changing in your whole outlook of how you see clients' health mentally and emotionally and cognitively, as well as all the other branches of soul health that we maybe don't think about. It's more awareness of all the different aspects of one's health, that I've found this model really beneficial in kind of highlighting, as a overall concept of whole health, that's unique and super important. I think all therapists should learn about it, of course, but that hopefully in the future that will be the case. But for now, this is a rare opportunity, and so I would encourage people to take advantage of it.
What would you like to tell people who may be considering this program?
It's such a good expansion of anything that we're doing, really, because everything is about the soul, because that's who we are. So to not incorporate that into what we're doing in everyday life, no matter what that pathway is, we're missing a step. And if we can incorporate, bring all that soul work into, and it doesn't matter what career path you're on, if you're bringing some soul work into it, then you're really addressing the whole person and the true self of that person. So I think, it's if you feel drawn to it, you've just got that little, this could be good, this could be interesting, I wonder how I could incorporate that into what I'm doing, then it's really worth.
And, do you have any last things you want to say?
I mean, I guess to those out there that are looking and are wondering if this is something I should do, yes, do it. Because even on just a personal level, it is so beneficial. You will find out more about yourself than you ever thought you would. And then on a more clinician side, it expands your ability to interact with your clients. So yeah, if you're teeter-tottering on with if you want to do it or not, do it.
Now that you have heard straight from the mouths of some of the participants, I want to invite you to check out the program. So it's called the SoulHealth Scholars Program. Now, there are 4 levels of certifications. This first level is going to be starting again January 17th of 2026, and it will be running. I'm going to keep it up and running, and then level 2, level 3, level 4 will follow. All of the information about level 1 is on the website, and I'm going to be doing some question answer sessions. If you are interested in learning more, you can call me directly, you can email me directly, whatever you'd like to do, because I would love to have you be part of this program. Because as you just saw, that so much transformation happened both personally and professionally for these participants. And again, it is such a joy for me to watch people evolve, and it has been such a gift to have everybody in this program so far. So jump onto my website, www.Dr.KatherineT.Kelly.com, go to the Soul Scholars tab. You can also peruse the other things that I do because I have a lot on that website, so I'm happy to share with you, but you're going to get to know me a lot just by looking at that website. And again, I'd love to have you join me. So have a wonderful day and keep checking back soon. There will be more videos to come.